Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Right now, so, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. The public is reminded that if they wish to speak tonight, they need to complete a speaker form found at the table in the lobby and turn it in. During community comment, persons may speak to the board about topics relevant to the district. All community comment directed at non-agenda items and agenda items will take place at the beginning of the meeting during the community comment section. I'd like to welcome everyone here. Some quick introductions. To my right, Superintendent Digner, Directors Eastham and Williams. To my left, Vice President Malone, Director Clausen, and Recording Secretary Kim Colvin. So we can get right into it. Our first item in our public forum is our Grow Our Own presentation. I don't know where we're going to start with. Chase.
Good evening. I'm going to speak from the podium this evening. We are excited to be joined by one of our new community partners in this project. Green State's been a partner with many other things, but we're here to proudly announce that our Grow Your Own program got a tremendous boost from a new partnership with Green State, who has agreed to help fund 2 years of our staff to teacher pipeline program. And so that's great news. So joining me tonight is Tara Wackendorf from Green State to just give a little information about why they wanted to partner with us on this project. And then we're going to hear from Eric to give some more details on exactly what our staff to teacher pipeline is, and followed by Carmen, who's also going to give more details on our student to teacher pipeline. So we're really, really excited about these developments. And most importantly tonight, our partnership with Green State. Tara.
Awesome. Thanks, Chase. Yeah, I'm Tara with Green State, and I just wanted to thank Chase and Susan for bringing this to Green State's attention. We're very proud to contribute $50,000 to this program, and it really aligns with Green State as we've committed $9 million over the next decade towards financial inclusion and racial equity, and this is a perfect example of that. So we are really excited to be able to support this program and see it take off. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause. So I'm going to let Eric talk a little bit about the program at first. She mentioned Susan. I should have as well, and the foundation has also been a tremendous supporter of our Grow Your Own efforts. And thank you, Susan, to her and her team for really helping us move the Grow Your Own projects forward. As the board knows, this is something I'm very, very excited about, and so tonight is a huge night for us in the work that we're doing as we look to diversify our staff and continue with our Grow Our Own efforts. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Eric.
All right, thank you, Chase. The big purpose of this is to expand the number of teachers of color in our teacher force. And so with this the donation here from Green State, we'll be able to provide an opportunity for anywhere from 5 to 10 support staff members to obtain a teaching license. And so through this program, we will have a cost sharing portion to it. So we will help cover some of the costs for getting the teaching licensure. And it will be in the elementary field. And it will, through this process, we will also provide some support for this group. They will go through this as a cohort, receive some professional development from our a few times a year through our team, and we're looking to start this in the summer of 2021. Summer of 2022, and have this teaching for us available for us for the fall of 2025. With that, I guess I'll pass it over to Carmen.
Can you hear me? So similar to what Eric said, for the Grow Your Own student pipeline, we have identified 179 students, BIPOC students, who have demonstrated an interest in becoming teachers within the district. And so the goal is to then create a partnership with the University of Iowa. They'll be working with us to create student mentors through their program, and then also with the Baker Teacher Leader Center, we'll be creating seminars and workshops for our students to get some career training and some professional learning. And then we'll be creating, through the 4 high schools in the district, we'll have student chapters, and then we have identified teachers who are interested also in supporting the students in those student chapters. That we work directly with students and preparing them through those programs that we'll have at the schools in that career pathway. So with our University of Iowa partnership and the cohorts in the schools, we hope to get
So, and if you remember, Carmen is one of our fellows, our ICCSD fellows, which was our first prong of our Grow Your Own program that we launched earlier this spring. And she's done a tremendous amount of work and leadership in helping us get the student to teacher pipeline up and running. Again, tonight we're very excited, especially to celebrate the new partnership with Green State around this work. We think that is fantastic. We would love an opportunity to come and meet with the board at a work session and talk more detail about the program overall, maybe introduce more of the fellows that are currently involved and share more of the great work that's going on. But thank you for giving us some time this evening. And once again, thank you to Green State for your partnership.
All right. Thank you, Chase. Go ahead and move into the community comment portion. A reminder that speakers do need to turn in their form, and you will have 4 minutes to speak. First up, we have Mohammed Traore.
Hi, my name is Mohammed Traore. So I went to the Iowa City Community School District, kindergarten through 12th grade. And in that time, I've experienced what a lot of minority students experience: constant bullying, racism, and administrators doing next to nothing about it. There was an incident in first grade where I was being bullied on the bus. And when I reported it to the bus driver, the action taken was me getting moved to the front of the bus, but the other kid was not removed from that bus. Other situations in second grade, being constantly bullied, also resulted in me going home all the time, crying, sometimes in the shower, trying to scrub my skin, just because I wanted to be a little lighter, thinking, will kids leave me alone? I tell you this because a lot of you don't realize what it is to truly feel like you don't belong. The problem with kids feeling like that is that that's going to last for a lot of their life, no matter where they go. And if they go to a school like the University of Iowa, they might experience what I experienced. Sitting in a large lecture hall that holds 400 plus people, you can get there 10 minutes early, and you'll find that kids would rather fill in rows that are already packed rather than sitting anywhere near you. Again, feeling like you do not belong. If you don't understand what I'm saying yet, it's this. You need to act now. Otherwise, you are going to see minority students leave this district in droves, and I do not blame them. A recent friend of mine I grew up with, also black, told me that growing up in Iowa felt like he didn't have an identity. I think a lot of your students feel the same way. My sister is a sophomore at West High School, and 2 weeks ago when the incident at school occurred, she called me frantically, asking me if I could call her out of school for the day. I asked her to explain to me what happened. When she told me about the videos online, without hesitation, I called the school and called her out for the day. You're lucky I was not in town, otherwise I would have come to the school and been speaking directly to the principal at that time. These students walking out of their classes to protest, that is not what you should be getting upset about. What you should be getting upset about is the fact that these incidents keep occurring. They've been happening for decades. Yet everyone acts like it's brand new. It is not new. It is just showing up online, so it's being seen faster. I'm glad that these students have the strength to do what I did not do and take you to task for it. They have the true courage. Those that do nothing are the actual cowards. About a month ago, I donated $1,000 to a West High scholarship to fully fund it for a track and field athlete. I had every intention of donating that same $1,000 every single year. I'm here to tell you now, I will no longer give this district a single dime if all of this continues and you do not act. I would much rather give that money straight to the families because they truly deserve it, and they truly deserve to be cared for. They truly deserve to be seen. So next time any of you want to say things like, we see you, we stand with you, Black Lives Matter, just know this: you do not see us, you do not hear us, you do not stand with us. Because if you did, you would have already acted by now. I should not have to be here today. but I am because of the cowardice. Thank you.
Nicholas, is it Tyson or Thiessen? Tyson.
Yeah, it's Tyson. So Nicholas Tyson. So I suppose I should note that I used to have a child in the school district at Lucas. We had to remove her, actually, from school in this district because of the incredibly terrible record this district has had in dealing with students with special needs. And in our specific case, there was multiple failures to write a proper 504 plan, write an IEP, and it didn't matter how much well, at one point, it basically got to the level of harassment. We had to harass the principal of our school in order to get him to do his job that is mandated by federal law. And the thing is that this isn't just one experience. I can't speak to the experience of the black students in the district, but I do recall hearing, this makes me very upset, two representatives of the Black Student Union who spoke at the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. They talked about the indifference of their teachers. I myself am an educator. I have taught at every single level. I have taught in elementary schools, I have taught in middle schools, I have taught in high schools, and I've taught at the university level. I have taught both in the United States and abroad. And when I hear young people crying out and saying, like, when we spoke up, meaning them, when they spoke up, no one heard them. Their teachers were indifferent to what they did, and in some cases, students were literally mocking them for speaking up about the things that affect them. I felt shame as a teacher. I said, how can we be like this? Because we create the environment that allows this to happen. Every single time a teacher fails to intervene, and really it's a failure to intervene, that is the responsibility. It is our responsibility as adults to set the correct standard. And when we fail to intervene, when we fail to say, no, this is wrong, no, we are going to do something about it, it then creates a culture, because that's what we have here. We have a culture of people who are unwilling to do the right thing, unwilling to stand up against injustice and unable to stand up against the things that are so wrong. I remember the last time I was in this room was in 2017. And the reason why I was here is because I spoke up with many, many other parents about the fact that the district was still using punitive restraint and isolation tactics. And in 2017, this district promised to get rid of them. That never changed. And so frankly, as Mo just said, it's not just about your words, it's not just about in fact, at this point, even if you were to make strong statements, I wouldn't believe you, because the follow-up is never there. And it's really the follow-up that matters. It's the actual doing of the things that matters. It's removing the punitive measures that are disproportionately used against students of color in this district. It's doing something to actually recognize students, hear their voices, and to actually do what they ask of you. Because the thing is, we tend to treat even high school students like kids. And they are growing into their adulthood, they are growing into who they are, but they also know what is harming them. They know what is hurting them. And so for this district to and I'm very angry about this, so I apologize. But the thing is, this district has an incredibly bad habit of simply waiting people out. The uproar comes, you make grand gestures, and then 2 years later, what has happened? Nothing. And so that is what has to change. I apologize for my tone, but I think that's the only way I can get this point across. Thank you.
Reverend Meg Wagner.
Good evening. I'm the Reverend Meg Wagner, a priest at Beloved Community Initiative in Iowa City, a resident of Coralville, and I'm here today as part of the Johnson County Interfaith Coalition, a group that consists of churches, the mosque and synagogue, and other community and faith organizations dedicated to racial justice. We stand with the students of color at ICCSD who have told you over and over again, not just recently, but over years, that they do not feel safe and supported in our school district. They have been clear. They have been far more patient than they should have had to be, and they've been honest and direct about their experiences at school with fellow white students and teachers. We do know that good and faithful work to address these problems has been done over those years by the school board and within schools, and that currently the board is working with a promising equity plan for the district. But our fear is that, like too many plans and strategies that have come before it, it will not make the kind of difference that our young people need and are asking for. A friend reminded me recently of the business mantra that culture eats strategy for breakfast. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. It doesn't matter how good your strategy, how inspired your equity plan is, if the culture of ICCSD does not change. Your plans and strategies will be dead on the vine. And that culture change has to start with you, the administrators and the staff. Beyond your statements that racism will not be tolerated in the school district, there has to be accountability on all fronts for the creation of a culture and environment where BIPOC students don't just hear that their lives matter, but where they know it because of the way they're treated by fellow students, teachers, and administrators. As a school board, you can commit to being regularly in the schools, making time to meet directly with student groups like the Black Student Unions and LEAD. You can demonstrate your commitment to the equity plan by providing regular accountability reports directly to the students on each of the 6 things you've named as priorities, and by communicating clearly how you'll hold students, teachers, and staff accountable if they have and continue to perpetuate harms against our students of color. And lastly, we encourage you to involve the students and the wider community in bringing about that cultural change. I recently had the privilege of helping to support an incredibly inspiring conference for students of color and allies organized by Carmen and Liberty Lead students that was called Agents of Change. You could make that kind of conference a regular offering and support the empowerment of youth leaders who can be the change they want to see in their schools. Cultural change in this district must happen. And as faith leaders, we stand ready to support the students and anyone in the district who's committed to bringing about that change, so we can provide a learning environment for all of our students where they are valued, supported, and challenged to grow, and no longer have to spend their emotional time and energy on fighting for the right to that environment. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. All right, next up, Joseph Dobrin.
Joseph Dobrian, 1015 2nd Avenue. I had intended to welcome the new members of the school board, expecting to see them tonight, but I guess I will have to welcome them in absentia and urge them and the rest of the board to understand what is at stake in the coming term. American civilization stands on the brink of irreversible ruin, having been driven there with the full cooperation and encouragement of many government-run schools. The people behind this effort intend to force every American to deny the very concept of objective truth, to deny the most basic morality, to deny the evidence of our own eyes, to the point where each of us must pretend that evil is good, that slavery is freedom, that 2 and 2 might make any number other than 4. This crisis has been realized through a process of demoralization by indoctrinating our children in ideologies that call for eradication of our traditional values. This process has been ongoing since at least when I was in junior high school. We see it in the population at large when the news media normalizes rioting, looting, arson, and assault. We see it in the tacit, if not explicit, endorsement by government schools of Marxist terror organizations. We see it in the pseudosciences that government schools present to our children as fact, such as the idea that you can choose your sex or that depopulation is necessary to save our planet from extinction. The leaders of this effort are attempting to rewrite reality, undercut our moral foundations, get rid of the concept of family, and replace all that with a culture of anger, despair, covetousness, and intersectional hatred. The objective is to annihilate Western civilization. That is, the civilization that was built on the foundations we inherited from Jerusalem and Athens, and replace it with a totalitarian system calculated to render each individual life meaningless and hopeless. The current obsession with race is part of the plan to divide us. I insist that race is irrelevant. There are only two types of people: decent people and evildoers. Decent Americans of any race, whether they know it or not, are at war against a religion of evil, an obscene religion that has as its goal a totalitarian utopia in which every scrap of individual sovereignty is ripped from us and each of us is reduced to an artifact, a thing. Only when the boot heel grinds down on your own face will you realize what these abandoned people have done to you. I urge each of you, examine your conscience. Recognize this evil and ask yourself, is this what a decent person would tolerate? Resolve that if this evil finally triumphs, it will not have done so with any help from you. I ask God blessings on your deliberations. In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
Next up, Reverend Doyle Landry.
Good evening. As a journalist, I can do it in 2 minutes, but I'm going to take my full 4. Mr. Degner, you received tax dollars to lead this district. You and I have never had a conversation until tonight. For those of you who know whom I am, my mother at 82 years of age is fighting cancer, but she knew which child she bore on January 20th, 1970. That would be me. Growing up in Chicago, spending every Saturday morning with the Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson Sr., there are pictures of me being held by Reverend Jackson. Then my father, who grew up bipolar in Chicago, where his mother didn't have a choice but to do the best she could as a married mother of 3. At the end of the day, when you spend every afternoon with Mr. Vernon Jarrett, the father-in-law of Valerie, or Mr. Lou Trell Palmer and his wife Georgia, these are names that I'm saying slowly so people can Google them. NABJ.org. Miss Dorothy Tucker, a Northwestern University graduate, because you can attend a school and be an alumna or alumnus, but graduate means you've earned the degree. At the end of the day, Miss Dorothy Tucker, Google her. She is our reigning national president. And the station that she works for, CBS 2 Chicago, the president is an ally. As a white woman who received her degree from Iowa State University, she turned around Channel 9, and she's now head of Channel 2, which just won the award for best station in the country. Because Miss Jennifer Lyons, a white woman, refuses to be silent about race. And she puts it on the news front and center. With that being said, Mr. Degner, A, your first solution, because you work for taxpayers, some of them are African American. And if you're going to take their taxes, you're going to spend their dollars wisely. Miss Jane Elliott. On April 5th, my father's birthday, the day after Martin Luther King was assassinated, she, as a Riceville, Iowa, white teacher, didn't understand why someone would be killed for peace. So, Miss Elliott created Brown Eyes, Blue Eyes. You will spend the money, bring her to this district so that people understand what it's like to be treated a certain way based on something they had no control over. I don't see you writing anything down. Uh-oh. You work for the taxpayers, not the other way around. You're not writing anything down. You're not writing anything down. And my point being is, I was working in Chicago.
Could you please step back to the podium?
I will not. So my point being is, you're not writing anything down. So when you take our tax dollars and not use them correctly,
This is not acceptable, and we will have to.
not acceptable are African American children being treated unfairly. That's not acceptable. So if you don't want a cadre, C-A-D-R-E, of United States Marine Corps veterans like me who fight from the front, because I noticed you didn't write anything down, your house is paid for out of tax dollars. Do you want to keep your house? Trust to try. It's not a threat, it's a promise. Again, at the end of the day, you will not live in the house of individuals who pay your bills and be disrespectful to those who bear children just like the ones you are the father of. And again, it's not a threat, so that children who go to school every day and have their esteem reduced. The information that I shared is today's Chicago Sun-Times, which means I don't own the Sun-Times. I just brought each of you a copy. Don't worry, the $1 per copy, it's on me, because that's a white principal who covered up sexual harassment at a Marine academy. So again, nothing to do with black people, but at the end of the day, Oprah, you cannot fix what you will not face. And trust and believe, the solution that I gave tonight, I have plenty. For those of you who understand whom I am, at the end of the day, I don't work for the school district, have never taken $1 from the school district, and as of tonight, refuse to continue to give solutions for free. Because again, you work for taxpayers. It's not the other way around. So as of tonight, on record, if the racism continues past tonight, don't get comfortable in your house.
Next up, we have Dan Cobble.
Ally. I just want you all to know that. And again, she's the executive assistant to him.
That was really good. Hi, my name is Dan Cobble, and I'm just here again to talk about racism within the district. The last meeting was probably one of the most powerful public meetings I've ever attended or seen. The narratives that people came and presented to you about their experiences of racism within the district, I mean, so powerful. Nobody should have to go to school and worry about anything other than school. And the response to the protests within ICCSD schools, to say that they are a distraction from learning, that's absurd. Because how can people be expected to go to racist schools and learn? They can't. I mean, if you're expecting somebody, a black kid, to go to school and be able to learn when he's being mistreated or abused racially, I mean, that's absurd. The kids and the folks who are organizing these protests and leading the black student unions, they can move mountains. And the decision that the administration of these schools and you all as the board members have to decide, are you going to be a part of the mountain that they move, or are you going to help them move it? And please, I hope you help them move it, because if you don't, they will move you. Thank you.
Next up, Amir El Ghali.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with your esteemed board. Everybody has talked about race, and I will not add anything if I talk for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. But what I would like to talk about, I have a child in West High, and I got involved in the last 2 weeks with what happened in West High, and I realized that for things to change, we all have to work together on a plan and a program to develop throughout the school system of ICCD, a protocol to handle incidents. As a parent, when I got the call about what's going on in West High, I really didn't have any clear instruction what to do. When I contacted the school also seemed to be they don't have clear protocol of how to manage and handle that and inform parents, because with social media and with the internet now, we get a lot of crazy stuffs. So I really would ask you, with all the concerned parties, that we come together and try to work within the system from elementary schools to high schools on protocols to handle racist incidents. And I will end my talk with a saying from Dr. Martin Luther King: the time is always right to do the right thing. So please do the right thing.
Thank you. All right, next up, Angel Taylor. Yes, Angel, sorry.
So I am a parent in the district, and I see how uncomfortable you guys got when Doyle approached you, and that's how our kids feel. It didn't feel good to have someone in your face. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how he's going to react. That's how our kids feel when they have to go to school and sit in an environment where they're being harassed and, people are spewing racial epithets at them. And you guys do nothing. I'm so tired of talking. I'm really disappointed at the equity. You guys have a bunch of black people on the equity team for optics, because you guys don't do anything. And I don't understand how you guys can continuously show up to a prejudiced-ass school district and comfortably do your jobs just so you guys can, preserve your livelihood. What about our kids? You guys disgust me just as much as they do. I'm going to be honest with you. Take a stand. They can't fire you. And if they do, really, what is the point of you guys being in this district? You guys are black. I don't know if you guys have kids in the school district, but again, you seriously, take a stand. We got out of the house a long time ago. We got off the plantation a long time ago. And the problem is that you guys have a problem with us speaking out. You guys don't have a problem with racism. You just have a problem with us speaking out against it. That's all it is. So I'm just going to say this. And then, these mask mandates, you guys went real hard for those. And you know why? That's because it affected your kids. You guys were quick to go, and, we fought for the mask mandate because it affected white children. Where is that fight for the CRT? Where is that fight against discrimination for our kids? We had a second incident that happened where another student, another white student, posted on Snapchat while he was in class on his phone against district policy. These niggers are annoying as fuck. We didn't hear about that until, that happened on Friday in class. We didn't hear about that until Monday at 5:25. That's something that we should have known about immediately. You guys try to conceal, you guys try to cover, but if it would have been one of our black kids, that would have made front page news. The kid that made the other comment about stabbing a nigger in the eye, he was transferred, not expelled, he was transferred to another district, which is even more racist than West High, where he can really thrive in his environment. And there's other unsuspecting black children there. You guys, I see, are not going to hold yourselves accountable, so it's time that we take over, all right? So I'm giving you 30 days. I see how Doyle said, you know, after today, I'm giving you guys 30 days, and we are prepared to do what we have to do as a community, even if that means removing all of our black kids from the school district. We are prepared to do that, all right? Because I'm done talking. And those of you who know me know, I'm good on my word. I don't make idle threats, I make promises. So you guys get your shit together and you start protecting our kids the same way that you protect your kids. That's what I expect. I'm done talking.
Tara McGovern.
I'm just here for what belongs to me that everyone's seen. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Tara McGovern. I live in Coralville with my family, which includes 2 teenagers. I'm here today in solidarity with the Black Student Union and all of the students who have been exercising their First Amendment rights. I had the privilege to hear some of the young leaders speak at the TRC last Thursday and several more at the protest on Friday, and I support them fully in everything that they're asking for from their fellow students, teachers, staff, and administration, and of you, their school board. I'm sure most of us are aware of the undeniable disproportionality of Black students suspended in our district. The numbers in 2019 showed that Black students are 5 times more likely to be suspended, and the recent numbers are not better. Also in the recent numbers, we learned that while 37% of students in the district are eligible for free and reduced lunch, 82% of the students who are suspended are eligible for free and reduced lunch. This statistic brought up a question in an Iowa City Mutual Aid Collective discussion. Noah, who's working tonight and couldn't be here, asked if suspended students still had access to the food to which they're deemed eligible while they're serving their suspension. I've asked some school district family advocates, and I'm told that they do not. Grab-and-go options are available at the junior highs, but that presents a geographical barrier for many students. I have assurance that both Iowa City Mutual Aid Collective and the Coralville Food Pantry would like to help address this oversight until the district corrects it. But there will need to be some communication in order for that to happen. Suspension is a failure on the part of the system to address the needs of the student. That a student would be further punished by an oversight like this is unconscionable. I ask that you please both listen and respond when community members like me and like all the people that are here today, including the young people who have been protesting, avail you of the disorder in your district. Please adjust and grow just as you asked your students to. Thank you.
Thank you. I apologize if I get this wrong. I'm trying to read it. Is it Amel Ali?
Hi guys, so this is my first time ever speaking at one of these meetings, so I apologize if I'm a little bit jittery. So I first moved to Iowa City in 2000, and my family immigrated from Sudan, which, as you know, has a lot of turmoil currently happening there. I started at Roosevelt Elementary and then moved to Longfellow, and then eventually ended up at Grant Wood through 6th grade. My first memories of being at Roosevelt are white kids touching my hair and putting sticks in my hair and twirling it. My first memories of Longfellow are a white student biting another student and me getting blamed for it and not being able to be trusted that it actually wasn't me. My first memory of Grant Wood is wondering why my friends, who, you want friends that look like you, so they were black, why did my friends go to a different room during reading time or like during spelling? And a teacher told me, it's because you're smarter than them. You speak better than them, you do better than them, and you shouldn't. And I get shaky because those are just horrible things to say to kids. So at a young age, I realized that I'm different from all of the black kids that are around me being at Grant Wood. At Southeast, I was treated decently, but I wasn't taken very seriously when it came to things like regarding my Arab heritage or culture. On September 11th, I had a beautiful, beautiful designed locker that said "Happy Holidays, Terrorist." It was there for about 2 hours and nothing was ever done. I never spoke to anyone. Nobody ever did anything. Nobody asked me if I was okay. It just sat up for 2 hours and I was horribly embarrassed. I promise you, it actually does not get better. So in high school, you get your angsty years and things like that happen. And I wasn't very different. My senior year, I just kind of decided that I didn't want to be like this sweet kid who was in classes. I just was dealing with a lot of anxiety and depression and didn't know who to talk to because my guidance counselor was a white old man. So why the hell would I tell him anything? One thing led to another. I slept with a staff member at City High. I stopped going to classes that entire third trimester. Nobody ever asked anything. The most reach out I ever got was threatened that they were going to bring the prosecutor's office into this if I didn't continue school. When I was supposed to go to New York, the principal of City High sat outside the buses and yelled, "Don't let Amel in, don't let Amel in, she can't come on this trip." Instead of just like calling me or like emailing me like the day before and being like, "Hey, you haven't been to school, so like you can't come on this New York trip." I wish students back then had the bravery and the solidarity and the unity that these kids have. I didn't have that support. I didn't have this solidarity and the sense of community, and you guys really need to do right by them. These issues have lasted long before they are talking about them, long before I even went to school, and it's just, it breaks my heart to hear that they're not being taken seriously, and I apologize, I've gone a little bit over my time. But, these girls are getting threats. People are literally threatening them. But people are more upset about the fact that, that it's disturbing learning. That's insane to me. People are on Discord pages saying that these protesters are gonna bring weapons. They're doing all of these things. This is horrible. How come this school doesn't have access to do that? I know Twitter was huge when I was in school, and when people said stuff on Twitter, it was immediately snatched up, you got in-school detention. Why can't we give these kids that same grace, that same comfort? It shouldn't be at this point, and I'm so proud of all of the students. Like, you're all incredibly brave. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up, Nisreen El Ghali.
Hello, my name is Nasreen Ogali. I'm a senior at West High, and I'm a co-president of the new Black Student Union at West High. I am here to remind you guys that what is happening to students of color in this district is still going on. Every day at school, I deal with the same racism. Every day when I walk into my AP and honors classes, I deal with the same discouraging culture. Every time I walk into West High School with my melanated skin and curly hair, I experience racism. I missed a full week of classes speaking with you and your colleagues, aiding you on what to do regarding this situation. What has been done? I was asked by the school to make a statement on this matter in the protests we organized one singular day after they happened. Where was yours? Telling me and the students that you are working on it behind the scenes is not sufficient enough. You, the school board, are currently conditioning and building future Americans. You guys are letting these incidents occur, reassuring that these people who I go to school with will continue to act the way that they are acting and think that what they're doing is okay. You guys are building this country, currently, right now. Is this how you want our country to act? Sorry. Is this what you want us, the Iowa City Community School District, Iowa, and the U.S. to represent and encourage? We, all of us, are the people. Without us, you guys would not be sitting up here. May I remind you, silence is violence, and you are currently protecting the oppressor. So today, I am here not to share my story again, but to let you know. Without clear communication and action with us, the students of the community, we will continue to press you very firmly. The city is watching you. The country is watching you. The world is watching you. With that said, we are not here for you. You are here for us. Do better.
Lean Abdallah.
Hello. I wanted to address again the racism within our school. I have a problem with the protocols that school involves, especially in suspension. Someone earlier talked about it, and suspensions are a way to target Black students, actually. They love to exaggerate a story if a student does something that happens to be Black. They exaggerate it and they'll spread it all over their school. We had guidance counselor, and their job is to protect students emotionally, and they're the ones spreading their business. So you guys are failing not just with racism, failing with depression, you're failing with, you're failing everything. You say you guys are gonna do something. You said that same line 5 years ago. So it seems like a repeating pattern. We speak to you, tell you what we need to, you give us something to pacify us, and then you let it go. But I feel like you guys really care about your image, and I feel like we've done enough speaking. I got braces, I ain't trying to speak more than I need to. And I feel like you guys care a lot about your image, and your image is something that you hold very highly when your paycheck is literally being signed by us. So for someone who's profiting off of us and not receiving anything back, it's just like a parasite. You just take and never give back. And you care so much about the image. I want people to know when you go to court, that information is for everyone. That will be forever, and you could search it up and you'll have to get it. No court appointment is private. So if you care so much about your image, I would suggest that you change. Otherwise, we could take this to state court or even civil court, because what it does violates federal law. It's not just a statewide law. Discriminating students based on their race, sexuality, religion, or anything else is a federal law. It's not a state law. So that's what you guys are violating. And we're giving you another opportunity. Always black people giving people other opportunity to prove themselves. We're giving you this final opportunity to change yourself. Otherwise, I don't mind working hours and hours just so I can pay for legal fees to destroy all of you guys.
Excuse me, can the Title IX coordinator raise his or her hand?
No.
Can the Title IX coordinator raise his or her hand? That is the person who's required by law to do his job. You can continue.
And also, we would like a list of all your names and email addresses and your positions. Huh?
You don't have to ask.
Yeah, but I would like it for not just people here, but people at West, City, Liberty, Southeast, Northwest, all of them, so they know who's in charge of what. You guys like the title, be able to play the role. That's it.
Next up, is Bina, is it Karichi? Karaoke, apologies.
My name is Benna Karaoke, and I'm a senior at West High. It saddens me of the reality of my environment. I feel as though I've spent a good portion of my life convincing myself that perhaps racism wasn't real, because I thought that if I pretended it wasn't real, it couldn't hold me back. I can still be an honors kid, and I can still be seen as a good kid at school. But ignoring problems, as you know, doesn't make them go away. Today at my school during class, we talked about the division in our school. The division is simple: those that stand with us and those that are against us. For the majority of kids, we feel as though those who are in front of me are on the opposing side of black students. But it's okay. It's okay because you guys won't silence us, nor will you get rid of us. You don't like us? I'm here to say we don't care about it anymore. I wish for a moment white people could stop hoping black people can come and be the hero to the racist story they themselves have created. We are not here to serve as the peacemakers of the world and keep white people comfortable. We are here to make things right, and if that means for a minute that white people have to be uncomfortable, we do not care. So what do we want? We want that kid suspended. What has the transferring done? Poor racist boy. He got exposed. Let's take him out of school the one time he's held accountable. I'm really tired of talking and addressing issues that aren't taken into consideration. I often ask why white students are confident to be racist and why teachers and administrators have ever not taken our sides. But trust me when I say that we aren't relying on you guys the way we used to. Personally, I rely on my classmates and my teammates that are with me in the BSU. I say this every day, but I seriously cannot express how proud I am of all of us and how much more I aspire for us. I know we will do more, and classes 23, 24, and 25 will have a chance at having a better experience in the ICCSD district. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Anthony Smith.
Good evening. My name is Pastor Tony Smith. I'm the pastor of New Creations International Church, and I also lead the Johnson County Interfaith Coalition. I want to talk to you tonight on particularly with one word, and that is accountability. You are in this district to be accountable not only to white kids, not only to overachievers, not only to whatever that fits your mood at the time. You're accountable to all of our students. You're accountable to every black student that sits behind me and every black student that is in the district. And the reason why you're in the position that you're in, because somebody thought you could be accountable. And as it seems right now, that accountability is in question. We need you to prove us wrong. Because right now, your track record seems to be you're unaccountable. Amen. The only one you're accountable to is the people that you try to hide. Now, some of you I've had conversations with, and some of you have even been by my, none of you all, but these people back here. But I've never seen you at New Creations. I've never seen you at the Johnson County Interfaith. Matt attends the Black Voices meetings from some time. But why don't you get in the community and meet and talk with the people that affects you? Because if you keep yourself distant from us, you'll never know anything about us. And it makes it easy for you to be. It makes it easy for you not to be accountable, because when you don't know somebody, it's easy for you not to be accountable to somebody. And you have that Black Lives Matter thing up there. Well, why don't you prove that Black Lives Matter? And so you have to take a step. You have to take a step forward, because right now our children. Our children are at stake, and you've heard from them. You've heard from them. So why can't we discuss how are you going to make your teachers accountable? How are you going to make your faculty accountable? Yeah, how are you going to make them accountable if you're not accountable? How are you going to empower these black people that you have hired and give them the power to do the things that they need to do? How are you going to keep a teacher in this district, a black teacher in this district, and give them the freedom and the liberty to do the things that they need to do? It is up to you to be accountable for those things. And you are in that position so that when we're supposed to trust you to be accountable for these things, but it's not happening. It's not happening. So our children, our administrators, why don't you take? Why can't we have a position where you get into the public and find out what the public needs? Not behind this wood right here, but get in the community. And then not make these vain promises and make something happen. Our organization, the Johnson County Interfaith, is anxiously awaiting to hear from you. The Black Voices Project is anxiously awaiting to hear from you with action, not just sitting at the thing and going over statistics and things that you're trying to do, but with action. With action. The NAACP is waiting to hear from you. The Black Student Union is waiting to hear from you. When are you going to talk? And when are you going to put some action behind your words? Accountability is what we want to see. And I stand behind these young people. And our organization stands behind these young people. And we're going to fight until you can do your job and be accountable.
We have Maria Kazembe.
Hello, my name's Maria Kazembe, and I'm a senior at West High, and I'm a co-president of the 2021 BSU. I came here today to talk about the instances of colorism that I've observed, as well as the racist narratives that run through both West and Liberty High School. Throughout my 4 years at West High, I've been treated as a poster child for Black students. I'm treated differently by my peers and teachers because I'm biracial. Specifically in my AP classes, I've hardly had to fight for respect, even though other Black students with the same academic history as myself have to fight for a drop of respect. I began taking AP classes during my sophomore year, and at first I was treated differently than my peers because of my skin. I remember that I often felt left out or felt like I wasn't good enough because at every opportunity, my peers would choose another white student to work with over me. I would see my teachers talk to my classmates in ways they have never spoken to me, with trust and interest. Only after I took a test and discussed my scores with a group of students who were clearly surprised that I scored well, was I accepted by the teachers and students. This is not the same for Black students who have darker skin than I do. There have been numerous times where I've been offered opportunities instead of my Black peers who have outperformed me. I 100% know that because I'm biracial and mixed with white, that my peers and teachers at West view me as less of a threat and less of a disturbance. I've been offered a level of trust that many other Black students with darker skin tones are not given, not because of their actions, but because of the teachers or students with racist and colorist narratives. Of course, there have been opportunities that I've missed out on because my peers and teachers think differently about me because I'm Black. But since they view me as less Black, they assume I'm more academically inclined and more competent. I found that people at West will come to me to try to speak to me on behalf of the experiences of all Black students or to justify racist actions they've done. They claim that I know what they mean or that I understand where they're coming from. They'll even refer to Black students as that group of kids, the kids you can't trust, the loud ones, and the students who will ruin it for everyone else. Black students are not given the same opportunities as other students and are rarely able to prove themselves because of the discriminatory views that run through the halls at West. West High loves to claim that they have a zero-tolerance policy for racism and discrimination, but when instances of them rise, no one is punished. The West High administration has a habit of silencing Black students who speak up about the disrespect they face. These problems are not just limited to West High. One of the presidents of the Black Student Union at Liberty High School said that when teachers know students are being called racial slurs, the majority of the time, no one is reprimanded and the issue is ignored. They often try to pretend that they didn't hear them so they don't have to address the situation. Most recently, 2 weeks ago, after Black students and allies protested in the halls at West High, there was a 2-hour-long discussion where Black individuals shared their experiences. Students talked about how scared they are at West High, how lonely or unheard they feel, and the West High administration did nothing, as usual. After hearing about how a student wasn't going to play football if the environment on their team didn't improve, despite their future depending on them playing, the administration did nothing. After hearing about instances where Black students were ignored or told that they were targeting themselves or victimized themselves in situations where they experienced racism, West High did nothing. After one of our protesters was approached and asked to give a lap dance to one of the students, they did nothing. Students have been talking about this issue and try to seek help, but no action is being taken to protect Black youth or prevent racist or discriminative issues. Even after multiple students have been exposed for doing blackface, saying incredibly violent threats towards Black students, and calling us racial slurs, West High has done nothing, and neither has Liberty High. Why are we being left unprotected? We are your children. We are supposed to be protected. We're supposed to have people we can talk to. We should be able to count on you to protect us. You're who we rely on. But clearly, we aren't able to do that anymore. But there's no one else who will listen to us. So I'm here to beg that you hear us out and understand where I'm coming from when I tell you that something needs to change. We're scared. We need help. Why are the people who are supposed to protect us ignoring us? Thank you.
Shankel.
I'll use this one or that one. No? Okay. I just came here today because, like, honestly, this is really, it's insufferable. Like, when you actually look at it and you see how you guys do nothing, you don't even speak. Even if you can't speak, you still should at least speak out. Even after this, you still don't. You claim you do this stuff just to say you are an ally when you're not, which I don't understand. I don't understand this one bit, honestly. It's really insufferable how you do all this stuff just to prevent white people from really just destroying their future after their future could have already been destroyed, and how you hide the fact that they're really just out here doing all this stuff without any consequences, basically. It's really insufferable. You have Parker McBride saying you'll stab a nigger in the eye. You have Justin Hatfield, I'm pretty sure, Justin Hatfield saying these niggers are annoying as fuck. You have a whole assistant principal pile driving a teacher inside his own office and getting caught and moving to a whole different school. You do all this stuff just to prevent white people from actually not succeeding when they already had a chance to and they missed it. But you continue to diminish and silence black voices and their own futures just for this. Tell me why. What are your reasoning? There's really none. There's no reasoning whatsoever. And it's disgusting.
Next up, Felicia, and I apologize, is it Deepev? Deeper, sorry. Thank you.
Hi. Sorry, I don't have much prepared tonight. I just felt compelled to say something. One of the themes I noticed in the last meeting was students and parents in the crowd talking about how they shouldn't be here. And I just want to reiterate that every time that the school board wants to co-opt or administrators want to co-opt, staff, the community wants to be so proud, and I am. I'm so proud of them, but they shouldn't have to do this. And I just want us to remember that it's your jobs to do this, and they shouldn't have to do it. I've also seen sentiments from different sectors, like the city council, and just this sentiment from white people that because racism is systemic that we can't do something about it, or that it's too big to do something about. But I don't know where like y'all learn words, but a system to me means a bunch of things working together to create an outcome. And that's what systemic racism is. And we have an opportunity at the school board to really actually intervene and do something. Like it's already been said tonight, this happened 5 years ago. This keeps happening over and over. It happens in different sectors. This is the sector that you have control over. And I'm tired of high schoolers being here. Like, it's a Tuesday night. Like, they have things to do. Like, they shouldn't be organizing. Nisreen shouldn't be being pulled out of class to talk to you about racism. They have to experience it, and then they have to do something about it. Like, it's sick. It's sick. I'm so proud of them, and thank you all so much. But they shouldn't have to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, Kanisha Ensminger.
I speak in this one? Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kanisha. I wasn't planning on speaking. I did not prepare anything. I did not dress up this cute for y'all. But I actually did not grow up in Iowa City. I am here in solidarity for the students of Iowa City, representing BSU and allies. I just wanted to say that I hold a wide variety of marginalized identities. I am one of those people that I guess wants to stir up traditional family values. Sorry, not sorry. But everything that I could tell you about me does not matter, besides the fact that all of those are more negatively impacted by the fact that I'm black. Not because being black is a negative trait, but because of how society works and pushes things against me as a black person. I grew up within a white family. I'm adopted by white people, and being in Iowa, I have been surrounded by white people my entire life. And throughout my entire school career, I often heard things such as, I don't see you as black. You're not really black, you're more white. You're not like those black people, you're quiet, et cetera, from students and teachers. Even though I didn't go here, I'm sure many can relate. And the only things that I have to do in life are pay taxes, be black, and die. And the thing is that many of you claim to be allies. Ally is a verb. You all need to be doing tangible things to prevent these racist actions that are happening. There are things that you can be doing to prevent these things from happening. I'm not religious at all, but God forbid that these children, these teenagers that are saying racial slurs and threatening the lives of these students, God forbid they become Kyle Rittenhouse next week. God forbid they grow up to become Derek Chauvin. God forbid they become their parents who maybe were spitting at black children when integrating schools. These are things that could happen right here. These are already the beginnings of these things happening. And I just really want to emphasize how much that I support these students. Even though obviously I care about all the bad things that are happening, I care about these students, and I want them to know that they matter and that their blackness is beautiful. It shouldn't be hated upon, and you all need to do tangible things to also make them feel heard and supported and loved, and to be able to live as their free selves, whether that be what we would consider quiet or what we would consider to be too loud or ghetto. I don't care what kind of black person a child is, they deserve to be protected by their schools, by their teachers, by their communities. Thank you.
Mayasa Hamid.
Hey, good night, everyone. So today I want to talk to you about two things. First being the teacher diversity at the Iowa City Community School District, and there isn't any. My first black teacher ironically teaches African American studies, and now that's not a bad thing because I wouldn't want to have it any other way, but why does the black teacher have to teach something that connects to his skin, to the color of his skin? Why can't he teach Spanish? Why can't they teach English? Why can't they teach world literature? That doesn't make any sense to me. And the second thing that I want to talk about is an incident that occurred to me yesterday. Yesterday at West, I'm in theater, so while I was at practice, I had a little bit of free time. So I went out to in front of the main gym, and there I saw this boy, and I'm not going to disclose his name because you might use that against me, and my family has enough to worry about. So this boy, I've known him since the 7th grade, although I never really had a direct conversation with him, and he is white with blonde hair. So somehow we just started talking, we started catching up, and mind you that I didn't realize what the things that I will tell you that he said to me was serious until he walked away from me. We somehow started talking about the district and the BLM movement, and I spoke my truth and how I felt about it and how I felt about this about this district, and he quickly came to invalidate what I was saying. He began by saying these things. He said that the racism that we black people are experiencing is not real. that the racism that we're experiencing right now isn't as bad as it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, and that we should be grateful. And he said, and he also proceeded to say that he also proceeded to say, he also proceeded to invalidate my feelings about the entire situation, and I was just there frozen in fear, cannot believe what I was hearing. He told me that he hates West because it's such a liberal school and that they let these dumb-ass kids protest in the hallways. And at that, my friends will tell you I'm a really honest and outgoing person, and I would have said something, but I was just there frozen in fear, cannot believe what I was hearing. And even if I said something to him, it would be my fault that I said something to him because he's very privileged. I know his family. I just wanted you to know that you guys sadly aren't the only problem. It's the students that go there too, the white students that go there, who are allowed. Honestly, you can have your own opinion, but in that moment, I thought if I said something to him, what if he retaliated and did something to me in violence? These students are given too much of an opportunity to say things that they can actually come true. I don't know what you're waiting. You're waiting for someone to die. That's what you're waiting for. You're waiting for someone to die for you to get up and do something. God forbid it be one of their own. I just hope nobody has to die for you to get up and say something. Because I can't. I don't have any power. It's on you. In that moment, I couldn't have said anything to him. Thank you.
Is Nora Berner?
Hi, I'm Nora Berner, and I want to thank all of you for talking tonight. And I also want to apologize to you. In 2019, early 2020, right before things were happening, in my daughter's elementary class, the teacher used the N-word. And we had several meetings, a lot of concerned parents in the class, with some of you even in this room. COVID happened. We let it go because the schools shut down. I found out recently that teacher is still teaching in the same school. She was given the benefit of the doubt. She was reformed. She took a break. Where is the benefit of the doubt for our students of color? I can't believe that, COVID happened and it took me till tonight to speak this truth of what happened. But I got to look away. And I can tell you right now, I'm not going to look away anymore. And that I am committed to abolition in our country, in our city, and in this school district. And my 4 white children will do better.
That ends our community comment portion. We can move into the rest of the agenda. And first up is just approval of the agenda for tonight's regular board meeting. I'd entertain a motion.
Move approval of the agenda.
Second.
All right. Kim?
Online voting is open. All votes have been cast and the motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
Thank you, Kim. Next up is our consent agenda. I had one question as I reviewed the bills on some testing, and it was just routine testing of our water quality, so I appreciate the answer on that. Were there any other questions from directors as they reviewed the bills?
No.
All right. Are there any items from the consent that directors would like to pull?
I'd like to pull 12.
All right. Anything else, directors?
No.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent minus item 12.
I move that we approve consent agenda minus 12.
Second.
All right, Kim?
It's open. The motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
All right, thank you. Item number 12, Lisa?
Thanks. I read the agreement, but Chase, I was wondering if you could provide some more background and context about number 12.
Sure. Thank you, Lisa. This is part of our COVID response. We've had numerous conversations over the last several months about are there opportunities to increase testing for students and staff in the district. And Matt and I had the opportunity to meet with the NOMI group a couple of weeks ago about a program they're providing in Des Moines. And when some of the board and myself were in Des Moines last week, I had an opportunity to visit one of their sites. And NOMI is providing free testing for the entire community, although with a priority to students, staff, and others in the school district community in Des Moines. They set up their testing sites on district property. The site I visited, you could stay in your car. It was drive-through. Individuals did not need an appointment. There was no cost to the testing. They do ask you to provide insurance information if you have it. However, you're not turned away if you do not have it. They make that clear in the agreement. We've asked them several times that no one would be turned away from testing. And so after seeing it in action and believing they could help us provide more testing opportunities free of charge to our students and to our staff, we decided that we thought it'd be a good program to bring to Iowa City. We wanted to move quickly on it. We're going to have 3 sites, one at Southeast, one at Northwest, and one at Liberty, so there'd be access points throughout the district. Again, no charge, but we do believe it'll increase testing capacity. There are 2 types of tests. One can be a rapid. I took mine and I had to go downtown to the convention and I had my results before I got there, less than 20 minutes later. Or they can do the one they send it away and you still get it within 24 to 48 hours. And so, again, looking for ways to provide more opportunity for our students and staff to get tested if they're not feeling well. We think this is a great opportunity for us to do that.
Great.
So Chase, are we assured that students who may not have documentation or will be
Yes, we are,
getting
and
testing too, is that right?
we've gotten that assurance, and we're going to put that out in our communication, Charlie, because they do ask for some personal information and insurance information, and so we don't want people to be scared off by that. Again, you do not have to complete those sections. It's voluntary, and so when we start messaging, we want to make sure that our families know that, because that's the last thing we want, is for them to think they can have access and then get there and see the form and be like, wait, I don't have this information. So we're going to communicate that, but we have gotten that assurance from NOMI that they will not turn people away that come for a test.
Okay, thanks very much.
There's no further questions. I would entertain a motion.
I would move that we approve item number 12, the NOMI COVID-19 testing site agreement.
Second.
Kim?
Online voting is open. All votes have been cast and the motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
All right, thank you. Our next item is our canvas of votes, and I think I turn it over to Janet to read the canvas. You all right?
We, the undersigned members of the County Board of Canvassers, hereby certify the following to be true and correct abstract of the votes cast in this county at the 2021 city school election held on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, as shown by the tally list returned by the several election precincts. Krista Burns received 4,480 votes. J.P. Clausen received 8,508 votes. Ruthina Malone received 8,933 votes. Jane Finch received 5,908 votes. Sheila Pinter received 2,984 votes and a scattering of 198 votes. Total was 31,011 votes. We therefore declare J.P. Clausen to be the duly elected for the office of Iowa School Director at Large for the term of 4 years. Ruthina Malone to be duly elected for the office of Iowa City School Director at Large for a term of 4 years. Jane Finch to be duly elected for the office of Iowa City School Director at Large for a term of 4 years. In testimony whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused to be affixed the seal of this county by the Clerk of Board of Supervisors at Iowa City, the county seat of Johnson County, this Tuesday, November 9th of 2021. Then we, the undersigned members of the County Board of Canvassers, hereby certify the following to be true and correct abstract of the votes cast in the county at the 2021 city school election held on Tuesday, November 2nd, 2021, as shown by the tally list returned from the several election precincts. Micah Pilcher Hayek received 10,028 votes, a scattering of 234 votes. Total was 10,262 votes. We therefore declare Micah Pilcher Hayek to be duly elected for the office of Iowa School Director at Large to fill a vacancy for the term of 2 years. In testimony hereof, we are unto set our hands and cause to be affixed the seal of this county by the Clerk of Board of Supervisors at Iowa City, the county seat of Johnson County, this Tuesday, November 9th, 2021.
Thank you, Jana. I would entertain a motion to accept the canvass of votes.
Moved.
Second.
All right, Kim?
Online voting is open. All votes have been cast and the motion carries with all directors voting in favor.
All right, congratulations, electeds. At this point, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this portion of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.